From AM 1680, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., and you know what time it is. It's time for Business Leaders Live. And every Tuesday morning, I like to bring somebody throughout our valley and abroad, outside the area, that has a effect on business here in the Central Valley. And this company is starting to grow, and you're starting to see them all over. And you guys are starting to get all over the state. And I got Nate Johns here. Nate, you're with Full Circle Brewing, correct?
Full Circle Brewing, yeah.
Full Circle Brewing. Let's get you in real close there to the mic. There we go. We can hear you there, Nate. So with Full Circle Brewing, you, when I first met you over at Full Circle, I thought this guy's got the total look of craft beer.
If you mean by hair,
you got the beard, the handlebar mustache, and if you joined us live on Facebook Live, you see that handlebar mustache right there on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. You can go to Facebook. That's at Talk Radio 1680 KGED, or you can listen to us online also at my1680.com and live right here on AM 1680. Nate, you're a brand ambassador, which means you do everything.
Well, yeah, it does encompass quite a bit, but more importantly, just putting the right message out there for the public, and all the hard work we do, just best foot forward.
Yeah. So Nate, with when you guys were starting with Full Circle, it was a group of people that came together, investors that believed in Fresno,
right,
and specifically really downtown Fresno. And they bought a brand that was existing for many years. It was the Full Circle brand, and they were one of the first craft brewers, correct?
Yeah.
In the Valley.
Fresno's longest-running brewery, thankfully, because the ownership group you mentioned there, just kind of recovering something and keeping, as we like to say, a little rebirth, keeping it alive.
Keeping it alive.
Yeah.
So these owners come together, and then they also opened it up for people to invest in the company, Full Circle Brewing. So the community, the supporters, the people that wanted to be a part of something cool and got behind the organization, and this is what you're seeing today, some of those results. Full Circle, I started seeing expanding pretty rapidly. They're over in the Chinatown area.
Absolutely.
With the brewery, and then they also started putting in new fermentation tanks, new plumbing, and really just dressing up the place and poising itself to grow for the future.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, we realized early on that the capacity we had when we first took over was not going to do. We're kind of known now for entertainment, and we took that from the old group. The original owners had a great vision, and they created this really cool, eclectic environment with, forms of activities and entertainment that you just don't find anywhere else. And so we realized that this is something special. We need to take this and run with it. And due to that, we increased the capacity. People started showing up, started drinking beer.
Yeah,
and we kept running out.
It kept running out. That was the big thing. Out. So as the beertainment, I think is what you guys coined it as.
Yes.
You had the beertainment, and you had E40 and I remember
Bone Thugs in
Bone
there.
Thugs,
Yeah.
and you had these bands, these huge bands, and people were just flooding the place, and you guys were running out of beer. It was such a good problem, but it's like, that's not cool.
It's not when you come the next day after a show and there's 2 or 3 beers left on the tap list there. So
yeah,
I think when we reset the community, it was a no-brainer for us. We're people of the community. We work here, we live here, we were raised here, and we saw that. With the spirit that we have and something that people are looking to connect to, the timing was right.
Yeah.
Definitely reached out and kind of grown to where we are today because of that support.
And I remember there was one machine inside the brewery that was a canning machine. It was like a dinosaur. It was the Dream, I think.
Yeah.
It was really a big paperweight.
It sure was.
And I remember Arthur Moya talking about this. We're going to be canning someday. And you see behind us here, if you're watching Facebook Live, some of the cans and some of the products. You guys have really cool wraps. I think that's what you call it on a can. Is that called a wrap?
The wrap, the label, and I think something beautiful, if I can grab this guy here. All these designs and the artwork that we have today, we're really proud of. And I think it's been eye-catching for a lot of people. And a little backstory to that is all this work is designed by a local, now an entrepreneur, if you will. Worked his way through the music industry here in the local scene, created artwork, flyers, advertisements, posters, T-shirts for our local musicians here.
Yeah.
And for him to jump on board through music and attach himself to Full Circle, and now design artwork for our cans.
Yeah.
And to see this across the state, it's pretty amazing. You know, that one individual alone has grown leaps and bounds. So
Yeah, and it's
we're
like
proud to-
you look at some of these, and they're the unsung heroes sometimes in business, and they're passionate about what they do. And as an example, and as a lot of people know, I work closely with the Grizzlies. Dorian Castro, there, an incredible graphic artist. You never see the guy or hear the guy, and you don't realize that the tacos brand that's famed. I said in a meeting one time, I watched him just sketch it on a piece of paper and says, "This is what you guys want it to look like?" And we're like, "That's it."
Yeah, and that's genius.
He's genius, and it was incredible. And that brand is everywhere across the world, and that brand. And same with Full Circle. As I walk into stores, I know you mentioned Costco before we started here. Going to have a road show coming up. The brand is in Costco. Full Circle brand is in places that I remember the company was dreaming about being. And now here they are.
Yes. You know, for us, looking back, 3 years ago, almost to the day, we had these high visions, high hopes.
Yeah.
We knew it was a long road, but in time, just ticking away, one hurdle at a time. We had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But, any growing business does.
Yeah.
And, I think our key to success was just shaping our team appropriately, putting the right people in the right places.
Yep.
Just utilizing our strengths.
Yeah.
And, Costco was, it's big man's dream. You're out there, and Costco's not going to support a brand unless they truly believe in it. I mean, they have a customer base, and their opinions and values to uphold.
Yeah.
So you're going to get into Costco, and people are going to believe that this is a solid product. So we were honored to be in Costco.
One of the things with Costco too is you can't run out of beer. When
Please
Costco comes calling, you got to be supplying.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things with those big box brands like that is they want to make sure that you're here to stay and you can supply when the demand is there. And a lot of businesses that I've worked with too that wanted to get into Costco, a lot of times is if you didn't have 600,000 units, you couldn't even talk to them.
Right.
So to be in there, such a big feat. It's a big accomplishment that Full Circle's done. And a lot of the local brewing scene, Nate, let's talk a little bit about that before we go to break, and we come back. We'll talk a little bit about where you started yourself and how it got to this business. You didn't just come out of the womb saying, "Hey, I'm working in craft beer.
Right.
I'm going to work in that beertainment scene." But talk about the landscape of craft brewing in our area. I know at one time Sacramento was a hotbed with almost 60-some breweries, similar size and city. And we had like 6 or 8 at the time, and it's growing and growing. And downtown sort of becoming a little hub of this ale trail.
Yeah, I mean, you could even say incubator, if you will. I mean, it's been amazing just to see. We got to give a shout out to Tioga Sequoia.
Yeah,
those guys have done great holding it down out there. For a long time, they were the only brewery in downtown, and they did believe.
They set the standard to what it should be, yeah.
Absolutely, and we have nothing but thanks for them and their leadership, and their support and their help. We haven't done it all alone. I think that's something special about this brewing community is that, we all may be, quote unquote, fighting for this market space, this market share.
Yeah.
But it's even bigger than that. We come together and we actually support and help each other.
Yeah.
I like to joke that, you can have 2 competing industries that will never touch each other's product. You could look at the old the trucks. No 2 companies are going to come together and collaborate on a new vehicle.
Yeah.
But you get 2 breweries together, and lo and behold,
a beer comes out.
It's
a birth of a collaboration. Yeah.
And it's all about the support and the camaraderie, the community, the competition.
Yeah.
But it's for healthy growth.
Yeah, it's a healthy competition. It's almost like a sport. It's a sport
It
where
is.
they're all working together and trying to help each other and competitive about it. But at the same time, you're all in it to win. But at the same time, you feel like you're all winning because you're doing the business you love.
Absolutely.
And you guys are very passionate about the products that you produce. And when you do the collaboration, it's so cool to see 2 different breweries coming together and creating this something cool, something different.
And if anything, it gives inspiration for the next guy down the line. We have a great homebrew club here, the Warthogs. They've been here just creating these brewers with this new mentality. The internet has opened up a lot of channels. The ease of travel from Fresno has given us the opportunity to hit a lot of great breweries in LA, San Diego, even Sacramento.
Yeah.
It's been pretty neat.
Awesome. You're listening here at Talk Radio 1680 KGED. I'm here with Nate Johns, brand ambassador for Full Circle Brewing. When we come back, Nate, you started in Madera.
I did.
That's where you cut your teeth in Madera. We're going to talk about that. So big shout out to Madera. You know, Madera people are proud. They love to hear Madera on there. Look at fist pumping in the other room there. We'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Talk Radio 1680 KGED Business Leaders Live. I'm here with Nate Johns with Full Circle Brewing. And before the break, we were talking about being raised in Madera and working in Madera. And not sure if you were raised in Madera, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But before the break, we were also talking about Costco and the big road show.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the road show and the details there. Also, I was just at the Chaffee Zoo, and I saw Full Circle Brewing out there too. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, share a beer with the animals, Yeah. So, we've been granted the opportunity again. It's all about the opportunities and just a testament to our success, I think.
Yeah.
How we wrap together with this community of Fresno and the Central Valley. The zoo's a big part of what we have going on here in Fresno.
What a beautiful zoo.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful zoo. If you have not gone out to the Chaffee Zoo, and it's been years since you've been there, I always say that about the Big Fresno Fair.
Yeah.
And what John Alkire and his team has really done with the fair. It's an amazing fair. It's a safe fair. It's a beautiful fair. It's clean. And then when you look at our Chaffee Zoo, it is award-winning, beautiful zoo.
Yes.
And it's going to get better and better, and you got to go out and be a part of this zoo.
Yeah, I do think it's one of Fresno's better kept secrets, if you will.
Yeah, it is.
You know, from what I'm told, upwards of 2,000 to 4,000 people a day are walking through that zoo. Family, kids. I mean, it's a perfect, friendly environment. You know, in an area of our semi-downtown, if you will. This is the older part of Fresno, and it's getting a lot of attention and love because of things like the zoo. Something that simple, and they're creating new exhibits, new areas for the animals, bringing in new wildlife. I mean, it's a beautiful place. They're doing a great job.
That's incredible, and I do. And so, Full Circle Brewing, the beer is out there, and the labeling we were talking about before the break, also too, that it stands out to you. So I was walking by and I looked at it and went, "Oh, hey, Full Circle's here. That's cool."
Yeah.
That we got the local brands at the zoo. So I love it.
I think they're pretty happy with this partnership as well. They understand where we are, what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish, and I think our message really resonates with that of the zoo. I mean, they're out here trying to bring people together, trying to provide a safe place, trying to just create that cohesion between the city, some form of entertainment, if you will, education. And just like you said, creating this safe place that you can walk away with a good memory.
Yeah, and Mom and Dad go out there, and Dad can grab a nice cold one when he's out there with the family and relax.
They can enjoy a pint.
I love it. So Costco Roadshow, so that's a big deal. That's coming up too.
It's a big deal. We have one coming up this weekend at the Abbey location there off Blackstone, 10 to 6. So we'll be out there. It's an all-day event.
Yeah.
Of course.
What happens at a roadshow?
Well, we get to display our product.
Okay.
We come out, we just talk to the people, not to harass anybody, nor can we give them any samples. But it's definitely a way for us to get out there and spread the message for those who haven't heard of Full Circle or maybe haven't taken the chance on a new craft brewery.
Okay. Yeah. And be able to talk to everybody as they're coming through.
It's a lot of fun, whether it's a sticker, whether it's a high five, whether they actually take a 4-pack home, which they've been doing pretty well over at Costco, I got to say. This will be our second one.
Awesome.
We'll be debuting again the Juicy IPA for those who haven't had the beer yet.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Definitely about 75% of our overall volume.
Juicy is one. I was going to ask you. So out of the brands, Juicy is one of the biggest products that move off the shelf pretty quick.
It is. You're seeing a change in the last 3 to 5 years of styles of beer, and I think what palates are looking for. We're creating this new age of drinkers, whether they're my grandfather's age or freshly 21. There have been very few beer styles to choose from, and few breweries out in the Central Valley, California, if you will. But we've been innovators as a state, and one of the styles we've adopted from the East Coast has been this hazy IPA. It's a perfect balance of a blonde and an IPA. It doesn't have a lot of bitterness, extremely hopped, so you get nice notes of citrus, very soft body. Again, a very clean finish. So it's kind of that beer that will attach to craft beer drinkers and people that are kind of new to the beer game. So it hits a broad market.
And a lot of people too, and they say, "Oh, it's not your grandpa's old beer." That there's nothing to say there's anything wrong with those brands. And a lot of those brands own craft breweries today. Those big brands, because they've seen the movement. And I tell people, if you wanted to start out with a beer and be able to drink, try a craft brewery like Full Circle, because one of the things I like about it is like the vanilla beer. I forget what event. I think I was at Gazebo Gardens, and there was a lady that was sitting there going, I never drink beer. I want to have one. And there was a little older lady. I want to have one. I keep hearing about this cool craft beer movement and all this craziness, and I come out here at Gazebo Gardens and I never have a beer. Which beer should I try? And I remember talking to her about the vanilla, and I said, I just tried it and I really liked it. It was really good. And she loved it. She goes, it was almost like having a little bit of a milkshake and a beer at the same time. And she said, I really like this. This is going to be my nightcap.
Hey, we got to have those sometimes. We have those long days.
And she loved it. She loved it. So it's a different, that's what's cool about craft beer, that you can have all the different types of craft beer out there too, if you want the real hoppy, as you were talking about, and explain to a viewer on Facebook or a listener what does hoppy mean. So hops in the beer, hoppy is going to be more of a full-bodied, flavored type beer.
Yeah, we kind of consider the hop as almost the salts of the beer, if you will.
Yeah.
It's used In many different forms. Traditionally, it was used to preserve. Then it was used to bitter. And we kind of went through this bitter craze here in California for a while. Who can make the most bitter beer? Who can put the most amount of hops in? They can be used, again, as a flavoring agent, as a floral citrus, flower note. Or they can be used to bitter your beer. To balance out the sweetness. And that's kind of where the craft beer movement started, was with extremely bitter beer.
Okay.
And we've shifted palates, we've shifted desires, and I think people just kind of got burnt out on the tongue there with the hop bitterness.
Yeah.
They want a little more flavor.
Yeah.
Hops are very expensive in the brewing process. They're probably one of the more expensive ingredients that we use, especially on the style. So juicy, a lot of hops in that beer.
Okay.
The way that one's designed is we use it on the cooler side. So you extract all the volatile oils, all the flavors, all the perfume notes, all the soft tones, but you get that nice floral citrus kind of jump.
Okay.
Makes it crisp. If you use it on the hot side, you tend to get some of those little more tannic, resinous, bitter notes.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see a little shift in that coming back. Everything's gone really soft for a while.
Yeah.
But the craft beer market is still excited about beer in all forms. So
yeah. So it's an art.
it's an art.
It's an art. And you
Yeah.
say some of these brewmasters, they're in there like mad scientists, creating and putting these things together. And I remember there was a beer called Fudgment Day. Was that one of them? It was like a chocolate. And it was really, I think it was a collab with Rocky Mountain at the time, and it was wow, and it was strong.
And we still get people talking about that beer.
Yeah.
Still today. I found actually a few accounts around the Central Valley had some kind of hidden in their cellar, if you will. Recently tapped. So if anyone knows where they are, there may be a keg floating around here somewhere.
There's some value in those.
There is. It was one of those beers that really gained us some attention. It was a Belching Beaver collab.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory provided all the Black Forest fudge.
Yeah.
Chocolate chips. So we really put a lot of heart, soul, and chocolate into that beer.
Yeah, it grabbed you.
It
grabbed
did.
You. Yeah. There was another one too. Before we talk about Madeira real quick, but it was during my sister's wedding. It was about a year ago, and happy anniversary. She had Too Hot for Penguin.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that one's back, but I was like, that name alone intrigues me. So we got a keg or two of that, and I knew it was really high demand at that time. And Arthur was like, "Oh, this is gold," and it was gold, because when we had that Too Hot for Penguin, I thought, "Oh wow, this is my new beer."
It's it's some of the fun things you see within the styles.
Yeah.
I mean, to create a beer like that as a one-off and a special.
Yeah.
To see the demand, the love, even a year later.
It's still talking about it. You guys don't even put it out anymore, but I love that Too Hot for Penguin. It was great. You might want to do a relaunch of that.
We may.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So did you grow up in Madeira?
I did.
You did?
So I was birthed here in Fresno at one of the local hospitals. And transported right on back to Madeira.
Right back to Madeira.
Yeah.
So growing up in Madeira, and talk to me about growing up in Madeira and sort of cutting your teeth on business and sort of where it got you to where you are today.
Right. Well, I grew up in Madeira with a long lineage of, grandfathers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, family just from the heart of that city.
Yeah.
Had some property and kind of grew up with, it's a little different now. I come to Fresno and I see the landscape and the design of the city. Yeah. Madeira's quite a bit different. It does have its city components, but it's mostly agriculture, farmland, space.
Yeah.
So half of my grandparents, they grew up with almond orchards. So we had the quads, we had the canals. I got to grow up swimming with the tractor tires and doing everything you're not supposed to do these days.
Yeah.
But
floating down the canal.
And playing with the farm animals and just running amok. Grandparents and parents inside playing cards all night. So,
yeah, I had the same thing. Awesome.
Got a great taste of the agriculture and kind of what drives the Central Valley. So it was a beautiful thing. It's something I dearly miss. Growing up with the coyotes and seeing the wildlife and a little bit of peace sometimes.
Yeah. Be able to shut down a little bit.
Yeah. And then on the other half, my grandfather was head of the environmental health department there in town.
Okay.
So knew everybody and all the back roads of the Madera County and the restaurants and all the good spots. So I was kind of cultured really early.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
sort of the business and how the back end of that side of the business works.
Yeah. To see the operators, not necessarily behind the scenes. I was too young and it probably wasn't legal, but at least got to go to and shake hands with some of these guys that were well respected in town. So grandfather kind of put me at the forefront there and got to show me a few tricks.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was a pretty neat experience. Great mentors there, the grandparents, and actually raised us and guided us through life as our parents were busy like everybody else's.
Yeah.
But taught us principles, hard work, and he was a man of the time where you couldn't afford to pay somebody to do something, so you did it yourself.
Yeah.
So a lot of work ethic, I think, was instilled upon me from my grandfather there, and something I've just taken and ran with.
So in one of your first jobs in Madera was at a grocery store.
It was, yeah, first official job. Grandpa had me pouring cement and laying fencing and building the shop and
because he
working the land.
I'm sure he would say different, saying, "Oh yeah, no." He had many jobs before the grocery store.
Many jobs, yeah. But the grocery store was actually my first break into I'd say the service side of business. Which attached onto at a very young age, according to Grandma. I was always a people person, and she'd wheel me around the cart, spend a lot of time with Grandma. She's worked for hospice, so volunteered a lot of her time and got to spend it with the grandkids.
Awesome.
So I grew up with that influence, and take me to stores, and I'd see people and say hi as a little kid. And,
you'd probably talk to everybody.
I talked to everybody. I just let them have it. She said all those older ladies they just loved me. I won them all over. So
loved it.
Yeah. So in front of people at a real young age, and just getting into the grocery business, very people oriented. It's a people business.
Yeah.
We have the product. We have the expectations. We have what people need, but it's the people that really make this business.
So that's sort of cutting your teeth on the customer service side and getting involved with that. And it's not too much farther when you're in the brewery business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And doing that, serving the customers and the clients and people that are the downline for supplying the beer.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking trust. We're talking recommendations, follow through, cleanliness, sanitation, safety. So a lot of the things did translate really well over to the brewery.
Yeah.
I spent about 16 years there at the store, and worked my way into management, worked with a lot of people, led teams. It was a great segue to the brewery.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk a little more about the brewery and the process of making beer and some more exciting stuff about Full Circle Brewery in downtown Fresno and all over in stores. I'm here with Nate Johns with Business Leaders Live. Lance Cardoza here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Don't go away. More to come.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Business Leaders Live right here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. We apologize to our Facebook fans. They were they were seeing Nate. I have Nate Johns with Full Circle Brewing. They were seeing us, so they got to see the wrap on the can, and they got to see that cool beard and mustache that you support.
Yeah, they saw the mustache moving. But
So they saw it moving, but they had to tune in to 1680 AM to catch the show, or my1680.com. But now I understand on Facebook we have the audio streaming, so we apologize about that. But we were talking about growing up in Madera and working your way through the grocery store business, and now being in the brewery and doing distribution, also serving customers, not only at the main location, which I think was the original location that the first craft brewery was started in Fresno, right?
yeah, the Full Circle there got its roots right there in that same building, an old post office. So
Old post office, right
Yeah.
there in Chinatown.
yeah, right at the edge, the forefront. You know, it's a
F Street, right?
F Street in Ventura.
F Street in Ventura.
Yeah.
So, and you can see the big yellow wall says Full Circle there. But that's not your only location.
Right.
A brand new location came this past year.
Yeah, actually, in January, after all this the struggle for the first couple of years, we worked some things out, got some more beer, made some bigger moves, and realized that another venue was on the horizon. It fits right into our beertainment model with our entertainment. A really cool, iconic place. Again, rebirth.
Yeah.
This great place called the Club Fred or Audie's Olympic or the Tavern, however you've known it, and
Yeah.
depending on the generation you're from. But it's been there for a while. It's off Van Ness between McKinley and Olive. So
I went to a comedy show there.
it's a neat place, yeah.
A good friend of mine, Brian, was doing stand-up over there, and I went by, and you guys have cleaned it up. It's really nice.
Yeah, we had to put our twist on it. It had been down for 3 years. We had our grand design and something that fit in our pulse and vibe without straying too far away from the original.
Yeah.
I think we did hurt a few feelings by changing some of the scape of that place, the colors. We brightened it up a tad.
Yeah. Give it that Full Circle pop to it.
We had to give it a little pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, it's our turn. And
Exactly.
we loved where it came from. We love where it's going. We remember where it's from. We haven't lost it, but it is different.
It is different,
Yeah.
yeah. And I didn't go into the bathroom, but I remember that bathroom had stickers everywhere. I remember in the past. Are they still there?
Well,
Or no?
we
Did you
cleaned
get rid of them?
cleaned the bathroom up.
That's what freaked people out.
Yeah, but we did leave the doors, so the exit doors are covered with just
All
some
the
amazing stickers.
Stickers
Yeah.
and band stickers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty cool thing in the past. So
Little
But
throwback.
clean bathrooms important. So yes.
Yeah,
Very good. Very good. So the tap room, and that's where the old Audie's Olympic is, and that's off of Van Ness, right?
right off Van Ness. Yeah, Ming's. You have the laundromat. A comic book store.
Yeah.
Places that have been there for a while. And it's so nice to see us kind of revitalizing that building anyway.
Yeah.
Bring a little more life. We have Spokeasy right down the way. So again, working with these community businesses, all in the name of craft beer.
Yeah.
Working together on hours, on food, what have you. So it's been a pretty neat, 4 or 5 months now, seeing this place open and the shows we brought through and the talent.
So, and that's what the beertainment, you guys do a great job bringing constant different entertainment, get people down and get people out
Yeah.
to check out and try the beer for the very first time sometimes because they're coming to a show and they're part of that beertainment, and then they get to experience it possibly for the first time. In the process of canning, because I know canning was a big deal and it was on the forefront about a year or so ago that Arthur was targeted. It was going to be happening.
Yes.
And now the cans are everywhere, and the wrap. We talked about the art on the outside of the cans. Tell me about, because I know there was some of those nights of just canning and getting cans out. And I remember watching Arthur on the canner and everybody just trying to get through it. I'm sure you have some funny stories or some things that happened in that process. And in this business, it's a lot of, it's fun, but it's hard work. And
It is.
It is. And
Yeah.
and with the process, do you have any stories that you might want to share or that you
Well,
can share on the radio?
None I can say on the radio, but I can assure you there has been a lot of those fun look back kind of moments. Even from our first major concert that we had, being new to all of us in some form or another, when you've got 1,700 people showing up at your brewery, and
Yeah.
you have beer that you may run out of
Yeah.
at some point during the night. It starts to make you look and analyze. I hope we made the right decision. I hope this was worth it.
I hope we survived tonight.
Yeah. But, all in all, when the show's over and all that hard work and the 18, 20-hour day, from setup to tear down, a lot of behind the scenes goes on just to make that show possible. But, when you can see the faces of those people that came in for that experience and they get to walk out just happy, talking about it, posting on social media, telling people.
Yeah.
I mean, that real grassroots growth. I mean, a lot of that sweat, it starts to pay off after a while.
Yeah, because it's the marketing side.
It's
like
great.
I say, and I know that my oldest daughter, Chloe, she went to a concert, and I think she probably would have never gone down the Full Circle and down there. And the concert's what drew her there.
Yeah.
And so that was the start to be able to introduce to the beer. And I think to be able to see that. And I think a craft brew, I'm trying to think that a craft beer connoisseur tends to be more responsible type people, because it's not like is at my age, 47, you go into a bar or whatever, it was always, you got to watch your back, or you don't want to go to that bar. And it was always that. And then when I see about the craft beer scene, it's a community of people, an eclectic mix and ethnic diversity that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
From the dogs, even dogs, families, kids that are playing Connect 4 over there, or doing the big jumbo Jenga, and grandpa, grandma, every walk of life.
Every walk
is there at breweries, and not only Full Circle. That's all the breweries, like we mentioned, Tioga, and there's Zach's, and there's the different families, House of Pendragon. That you have all these different. It's an eclectic mix of people.
Yeah.
And it's not to where they're going there to get smashed.
Yeah. And, you go there for a good time, for an entertainment, whether it's a pint or a show.
Yeah.
Or it's simply sitting down and having a conversation with somebody to your left or right.
Yeah.
I like to think that you can measure a business's success or an industry success by the people. And I look around Full Circle. I look around Tioga and Zach's and Hop, and Pine and Palm, and these breweries that are popping up in our eclectic. We have a cool little pulse here in Fresno that I think just gets kind of hidden.
Yeah.
But when you pop into these breweries and you see those families, you see the diversity, you see the lawyer and the mechanic, you see the young and the old, the male, the female, the children, the animals.
Yeah.
You're bringing people together.
Yeah.
And it's in the name of craft beer. It's in the name of entertainment. It's in the name of community. And I think that is what we've worked hard for. That's the blood, sweat, and tears. Those shows, the working on the can line with 18-hour struggle days where you're walking home covered in beer.
Yeah.
You had the guy that opened the wrong gasket at the wrong time and got covered completely in hop material.
Oh.
I mean, you end up looking back at some of those those lessons, if you will.
So those lessons in learning and get through this process.
But you see the smile across the bar, and you see the posts and the support, and it lets you know that, hey, things are going to be okay. You're moving in the right direction.
Moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
We were talking about canning and investors. The community could own a piece of Full Circle at one point, and they were investing. And when you guys started canning, I saw posts online, and there was like a call for help.
Yeah.
And investors came out of the woodwork, and we talked about when those investors were investing in Full Circle, it was almost like they were the dreamers, like Arthur was before he put together his team of investors to actually own a brewery and not be just brewing at home and doing his little brew kit, which most of those people did. But they were able to have a chance to be a part of a brewery without the expense of trying to start a brewery.
Yes.
And be involved with that. So that was pretty cool to see everybody come out to help can and be a part of this next phase in the almost writing history of where this company was going.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. We believe and we've seen it takes a village.
Yeah.
There's a lot at hand, a lot at bay to get this thing off the ground from day one. And every day it's something new.
Yeah.
We learn as we go. We grow each piece, each piece at a time. And the people have really come together to give us that lending hand. We did reach out to the community for investment opportunities. We, gave out equity shares to the brewery. to create that cohesion between our community and what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Made it a community mission, and make people of Fresno proud to see that our beer is in San Francisco, all the way down to Bakersfield and distributed everywhere in between. That's something awesome. And if you had your part to do with packaging or canning or labeling or just simply stacking the beer on a pallet,
Yeah.
or having a pint, you had your hand in it. And, it's neat to be connected to something that is so locally grown and you can even own.
Yeah.
So,
Own and have a piece of it. And so when you grew up in Madera, work in the grocery store, you mentioned your grandparents and grandfather. They gave you that work ethic. They sort of set you up for what you were going to be doing as a brand ambassador and working with accounts and working with people in this business of craft beer and working very closely with Arthur. And I know he thinks the world of you. That it sort of set you up on where you were going to be doing. Did you ever think you were going to be in this business, working in craft beer?
Well, I knew I'd be drinking it.
Yeah. So you were a fan of it.
I was always a fan. Yeah. I learned that, of course, at 21.
Yeah. Yeah. 21.
But,
Yes.
the market had just emerged into this whole other beast.
Yeah.
By the time I hit, drinking age, and, had the history of beer and saw the big beer brands and saw all this, and never once thought I'd jump into that form of the industry. But when it came down, when I realized that there were people, there was work, there was team, there was fun, we're having a blast.
Yeah.
We're traveling around. Could not have imagined, today I'd be here. But,
You'd have that opportunity.
yeah.
But we've got one more break before we come back. But Nate Johns with Full Circle Brewing is in here in studio, Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Nate, when we come back, I want you to share something that someone that maybe knows you or doesn't know you that can create a connection, something that you like to do, hobby, something that maybe someone doesn't know. But now they come up, shake your hand and go, hey, I'm interested in that too. We'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Lance Cardoza here with Business Leaders Live, and I've been sitting this hour with Nate Johns with Full Circle Brewing Company. And we talked about Full Circle and the journey that it was the first craft brew in the Valley, and started right there at F Street in Ventura.
F in Ventura.
Yeah. And
hold it down.
How long ago? 4 years ago now? New ownership?
We
Arthur
took it over. Yeah, just about 3 years ago. We kind of looked at some numbers, and it's been almost to the day.
Yeah, 3 years. A lot has happened in 3 years' time.
Lots happened. Yeah, since we brewed our first drop to where we are today, it's been a big battle, a big uphill battle, but
yeah,
we've kind of made light work of it. We like to think,
and having fun along the way.
Yeah.
So we talked about before the break, Nate. Somebody that knows you and maybe doesn't know something about you as a hobby or just something about you. What would you share?
I love the outdoors. I grew up, like I said, in Madera with the farms, and as a kid, just pretty much had free reign of just being outside, and it's led me to the hobbies and activities I involve myself within today. I grew up fishing at Eastman and Hensley Lake out in Madera. That's a old man sport, if you will.
Yeah.
Very peaceful,
relaxing, and yeah.
But you need time.
Yeah, to escape the harsh realities of our world.
Yeah.
Be able to just go and
connect with the fish.
Yeah.
And, maybe a few craft beers, but grew up doing that with my father, and nowadays I don't have as much time to fish anymore. With the industry, we've been extremely busy through our growth, and it's a time thing. But now I love playing the sport of disc golf.
Disc golf.
Yeah, it's this emerging sport, and kind of where all this ties in is the same lakes that I got to grow up fishing on now have disc golf courses.
On the lake.
On the lake.
Very cool.
Eastman and Hensley, wonderful courses. The lakes are full of water this year. It's beautiful out there. Just watch out for the rattlesnakes.
Oh, yeah.
But now I get to play disc golf at the lakes I grew up at. So that's been my new pastime, traveling California, hitting craft breweries and disc golf courses. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's been a big part of my life these last 4 or 5 years.
And I always like to tell that story. And some people have listened to the show. You hear this story, but I have people time and time again that say, hey, remember I shared that on TV with you, or I shared it on radio with you. I had somebody come up and shake my hand and say, hey, I didn't know you played disc golf. And then all of a sudden the conversation started. And I love to always share that, and because you never know how you're going to connect with somebody.
You're right.
Open up dialogue.
You're right, and it could be something that simple. I mean, disc golf is a great sport to get outside and be active. Kind of put the phone down, put the electronics down, and just be.
You can't be texting playing disc golf.
Right.
I need to take up disc golf.
You do. It's a great hobby. A sport, if you will. It's actually kind of growing quite a bit, and you're seeing the fusion of craft breweries and disc golf come together. So Anderson Valley, they have a big tournament, 4-day weekend. You drink their beer, you play a tournament, you meet people.
Yeah.
You get out. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's been a great thing.
I think in today's climate and business and everything we do, we count so much on our electronic communication and stuff. And what I love about, there's a big difference from just going up, shaking somebody's hand and talking to them. And a lot of times when we do our relaxation time, either we're a recluse and we shut down and we don't want to see anybody, or we go out and we network and connect and just talk. And then we go back to business. We're back to electronic again.
Yeah.
And it's very cold and impersonal. And, I push so much that in this social climate of what we do in our business, try to make a phone call. Make a phone call, shake a hand, go see them in person, show up and don't sell them anything.
Right.
Just show up and say, hey, how are things?
And support.
Yeah, support and talk to them. And that successful businesses do that. And they just check on people and just following up. And I think that's a true statement in every business out there, that the more and more that we can do that, it's going to be a better world for business and better world for just your day-to-day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You feel good, especially if one comment you made, or one smile, or one hug or handshake, whatever it be, make the difference in somebody's day.
Yeah.
We all have our own struggles and our own ways through this thing we call life. And it's neat when you can come in and show that support and make that eye contact and let someone know, hey, how you doing? How are you?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not here for anything other than I'm checking on you.
Yeah.
Just I care about your business and your support to our business, and we want to support you too. And I say this for young people too, because when young people listen to the show, I want them to always think that you can move mountains in person and see somebody and talk to them versus send them an email, a text, a Facebook, or guide them to your website or whatever it be, or to my Facebook page. It's so much more power in person and just meeting people and talking to people, and you'll learn a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this show. I love this show because I know more about Nate. I see you all the time, but I had no idea you grew up on a farm, had no idea you came from Madera, had no idea some of the background that makes up the person of who you are today. Right. And I'm sure your grandparents would be very proud of everything that you're doing and what you love and believe in. And what you're doing. Let's talk about, so we got about 2 minutes left. Let's talk about some of the festivals that are coming up, and there's all sorts of fun craft beer stuff happening.
Oh, there's so much. It's
Shaver Lake's coming up soon.
Shaver Lake, that's a great one, a good overnighter. The community up there is it's open arms for the brewing community. We do beer competition and a festival, the beer tasting, and right there on the lake. I mean, yeah, it doesn't get much better.
Yeah,
I've been to Yosemite. We have a Visalia Beer Fest coming up. We're doing Steel to Glass nights at local businesses around here, just, getting our brand out there, getting that business and exposure. So we're really trying to stay connected with these beer fests. But
you mentioned during the break, you were talking about Visalia. It's Boots,
Brews, and Bacon. I believe that's what it is.
But not necessarily that order, but whatever order you want to put it in.
Whatever order you like. Bacon's in there somewhere. I think that's the important part,
Does somebody have a bacon beer?
I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't tried one, but I think I've seen one floating around out there. Maybe Pizza Port might have done one. Bacon and eggs or something like that.
Bacon and eggs. Maybe that's something that Full Circle needs to look at, a bacon beer.
A few farmers out here. Maybe we can get some locally sourced bacon and infuse it with the beer.
I love it. Hey, Nate, I appreciate you taking the time and coming down to our show every Tuesday morning with Business Leaders Live, and appreciate it. And,
thank you for having
me. Look forward to the future of where Full Circle's growing in the future, and where you're going to see the next can on the next shelf.
Can't wait.
Good deal. Thank you so much. Join me next week, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. I'll bring you another edition of Business Leaders Live, and also you can go to lancecardoza.com and you can catch this episode and other episodes right there at lancecardozas.com. And I think that's all the time we have. I don't have the counter here. We lost it, Woody. But there we go. We're all good. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us here at Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Talk to you next week, 9 a.m. Tuesday morning.